Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. This is Brian from You're Digging It Metal Detecting. Today we bring you something a little different. My good friend and hunting partner, Jim, that you've probably seen in a number of You're Digging It videos over the years. Well, he's retired now and winters in Florida. He's started doing that a few years back. He joined a metal detecting group down there, and I guess he's situated pretty close to the Treasure Coast, and he's become quite good friends with legendary detectorist and author Terry Shannon. Jim has worked with Terry on a number of Terry's books, kind of as a proofreader, organizer, editor, and well, a few weeks ago, Terry and Jim sat down together, and Jim, acting as a roving reporter, they had a nice interview and a walkthrough looking at Terry's very impressive metal detecting finds collection, and they've done the honor of sharing that with me and allowing me to post it here on my channel. I thank Jim and Terry. This is a very impressive interview, and I'm happy to bring it to you. Please enjoy.
Hi everybody, Jim here from You're Digging It Metal Detecting. We're here with Terry Shannon today, and he's been gracious enough to give us some time and is going to show some of his finds, maybe tell a few stories. How he got stuff?
I'm known as a storyteller.
Yeah.
There's no question. You're going to get a story or two whether you want it or not, you know. But anyway, how everybody out there, I'm one of the lucky ones. I live in Minnesota. I'm a snowbird. You know, I'm up there in Minnesota in the summertime, and I detect up there. I'm into the copper spear points from the natives and that stuff, and the river where the kids tube, I detect up there. I got a couple forts and old center holes. Just enjoy it. And Minnesota is beautiful in the summertime, but it kind of sucks in the wintertime with the snow and that. So down we are, and we're on the Treasure Coast. My wife and you know, the very first Spanish coin, and that's what was my goal when I moved down there, is to find one of these Spanish coins, was found straight out from right where we're talking right now. There was we had a 3-day storm. I'm out there, and I just found all kinds of stuff, including this Spanish coin. And that's my goal. Every day I go out, and I went out with Jim. In fact, I was with Jim when he found a Spanish coin and some stuff. So we're blessed. We're really blessed.
All right, so let's take a walk around and look at some of your stuff. Okay, what do we have here, Terry?
Well, here's some of the rings. A lot of these rings were actually found in Minnesota on Tubing River, the Otter Tail River. I grew up on the Otter Tail River as a kid. I played in it as a kid. I'm 81 years old now, and I'm still playing in the river. And when the Tubing River, they had been tubing down, floating down that river for about 25 years when I finally discovered it, and I went in there, and it was just unreal. The first, I'd say 3 or 4 years, every year I averaged 80 to 100 rings out of that, and some really nice rings. You know, these two are all gold rings, and you know, my wife, you know, she has this box is her rings, and when she came down here in her box, she had about 3 rings in each spot. This will hold 70 rings, and she had about 3. And we went to one thing, she was worried about somebody taking something, so she took everything out, but just filled it up, and then in a jar back home, she's got another 100, at least another 100 gold rings.
Well, everybody asks, what's your most valuable ring you got here?
Okay, the most valuable ring, probably this one is an emerald ring. It's 4.7 carats, and it's set in 16 diamonds, set in platinum, and the ring itself is 14 karat gold. And it was kind of, I had this formally appraised at $11,000, and that was about 4 years ago, so I think it's worth more now. Wow. And I got one in here, it's a 2 carat diamond. I had a real good day one day. I was out, and I got 11 rings in one bowl. And I'm just up here about, I'd say 6 blocks up here, there was a bowl. And I went in there, 5 of the rings were gold. This is a 2 carat diamond. I found a band. I found another one with 33 diamonds that I wear. I could probably show it to you later. And I went back that night and got another gold ring, and then the next morning I got one more out of that one bowl. And this is an interesting ring here. This is when I found my first Spanish coin, I also found this ring, and it's the old mine cut, and I don't know if you can see it real well, but the diamonds are the rough cut diamonds. I've got a picture of it that shows a diamond, but it's just a rough cut diamond, just a stone put in there. I don't think this goes back to the 1700s. It's not marked. I think it's probably, you know, early 1800s or so.
So you found it with the same time you found that coin you're wearing on your neck, right?
When I'm wearing around my neck. Okay,
No, you're good.
Okay, this coin is 1701 Spanish 2 real out of the Pot de Say Mint. And when I found it, there's a wreck right out in front out here that they discovered right about the time that I found the coin. And they did a news release on it, and they actually included my coin for the wreck.
Wow. They
found a boarding sword, a pistol dated 1709, a couple silver platters, and the archaeologists come over and asked me if I'd show them where the coin was, and we went out there. And when the news release came out, it's got Terry Shannon's coin in it. That's kind of neat, you know.
Now, you've also sold some coin or sold some rings and have some in...
yes, I've actually sold quite a few. I sent, I think, about 30 gold bands, just wedding bands, into the refinery, and I got about $4,300 for it. And I just took a bunch of the gold crosses, I think one chain and some gold bracelets, and I think 10 or 11 rings, gold rings, and put them on a consignment at a jewelry store, you know. And
let's see this underneath here.
Okay.
These are gold also, right?
Yeah, these are gold. And some of these, like these, are the old Black Hills gold. You know, the ring itself is probably 10 or 14 karat, but the little leaves are always 12 karat. And this one right here is kind of an interesting ring. I went down here to the first Spencer Holland South. I was going to walk out on the beach. I set my detector down, you know, and put the headphones on, turned the detector on, and I lifted the detector up and made a noise. I'd set my detector right down on that coin.
Wow.
You know, and this emerald ring, when I found that, I'd given up, found nothing for the day, and I was walking back to my car, and I'm swinging on the way, and got this one signal for the whole day, and I scooped it up, dumped the scoop, the ring goes rolling across the beach. I take a look at it, because that can't be real, put it in my pocket, and my God, it's a heck of a find. Okay, these are some of my finds that I've got out here on the Treasure Coast and found metal detecting. And this is an amazing display. If they had a course in school on neatness, I'd have failed it. You know, it's just, you know, once I find something, you know, then I'm excited about the next thing coming up. So, but these are our Spanish coins. This is an 8 real. I had a beautiful 4 real, and the guy offered me so much money, I sold it, and I really wish I hadn't done that. But this is a 4. This would be a 2 real, and here's a 1. And a half real. It's a real small coin. That isn't a half, it's part of a 1. Here's a half real. So an 8 real is 1 ounce of silver. You know, a half real is 4 ounces of silver, 2 real is a 1/4 ounce. You know, write it down, an 8. And they actually make one that's even smaller, but I have one, but I've never seen anyone find them. You know, and these are cob coins. You know, that the way they're made is there's a strip of silver, and they pour the strip of silver out, and you know, slaves stamp them. You know, they cut off approximately the right weight, and a slave stamp them. And then the assayer is right there, and he shaves them down to get the correct weight. You know, so the coins are all different. You know, they're really kind
And you found all these right on the Treasure Coast here?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. When I found this one right here, Jerry and another friend of mine, we found 5 of these 8 reals laying right on top of the sand. When I found this one, as I went over it, I looked down, I could see the coin. I actually picked it up. But what was funny, you know, I was really excited. It was a beautiful coin. It was corroded, of course. But the night before, we'd been in that same area, and we're just digging steady. We found some really neat stuff. And we went back, and we got these 8 reals, and this other friend wasn't with us. So I called him up. And we'll say his name is Bob, but he doesn't want a name out there. But anyway, he was working close to the area. So he comes out, and I show him the coin. I said, look what I got, a beautiful 8 real. And I said, laying right on top. And he looked at me and he said, well, you know, if it's on top, I'm going to walk around and see if I can find one. He walked, I bet you, 30 feet from me. He turned around with this big grin, and he goes like this, and he found one laying right there. You know, and I was grinning going that way. I would have found it. It was laying right on top. He walked up, he said, are you mad? I said, no, this just makes a heck of a story, you know. So, It just you got to have luck. I got 2 this year. I put them in bezels, they're small, but this was the first one I got right after the hurricane. It was a ½ real, and this is a 1 real, and I got that a couple weeks ago before the weather, got really nice. In fact, on this one, I belong to a metal detecting club, and I found this, but I had to quit early because I was going to the club meeting. So I called a buddy of mine. I said, I just got a 1 real, So he comes down, he walked maybe 30 yards past me. I don't even think that far, and found 2 8 reals. If I kept my mouth shut,
was this the meeting I was at with you? The treasure? Oh,
yeah.
Should have called me.
I didn't say anything to anybody. I didn't want anybody to know that I found one at that time, because I have trouble.
Is this real?
I put that in there for color. No, it isn't. It's gold plate. But I found this, and it was amazing. I'm walking down the beach, and I got this thing, scooped it up, and this thing came out with half of it hanging out of my scoop. Boy, I tell you, that went in my pocket, and I just kept right on going, didn't show anybody. And, if this was solid gold, I could probably retire it, but it's gold plate. But just the plating, there's a lot of gold in it, on these coins, I've got a lot of different artifacts here. Here's a ring that I found. I told my wife one time that I got up in the morning and I said, I want to find a ring from the 1715 fleet today. That's my goal. And I went down here to Ponce, and I got into the stuff. I was just doing really well, and I got this ring right here. I found this ring, and in my pocket it goes. It's not big inside. It's a regular gold band. And then I found a very ornate, gold ring, little gold ring, and I called her up and said, I think I want one from 1715 fleet. When I looked at the ornate one when I got home, it had a 14-karat mark in it. And this ring here is a posy ring. And inside, it's 18-karat gold. Inside, it has the inscription, Godly love will not be moved. And it also has a maker's mark. So I was able to take a picture of that maker's mark and send it to 2 different groups over in England. One come back, said they dated it 1604, and the other one said 1654. So it's a 1600 ring. But it's Irish, and these go way back. They go way back to the 12th century. But the original ones used to have the inscription on the outside.
So what do you think? If a sailor was wearing that when the ship went down?
Yes, because I found this posy ring. I found a silver shoe buckle. And I found this Osha ore. It's a lead thing. And this Osha ore is voodoo. When the Spanish were taking slaves, they tried to convert them to Christianity, and they started their own religion. They still make these today, just almost identical. But this came up, and it's old.
Is that pewter? What is that?
It's lead.
Oh, lead. Okay.
Yeah, and they make 2 of them. It's part of the voodoo religion. It's kind of interesting. I had some friends that are very religious, and they said, throw it away, get rid of it. And I just told them, I said, I think my religion is strong enough that this isn't going to affect me. I can't throw something like that away. But yeah, I think it's very old, and these pieces of pottery, they came right off a ship. But this is not one of the treasure ships. This one, here's the bottom of a gun. And this ship is just loaded with rifles and guns. And when you pick them up, they kind of fall apart. I got parts of other ones.
Is that 1715 too?
No, 1789 is the date on the rifles and that. So they're not the 1715 stuff, And different stuff. We have a saying on the treasure coast: if you don't know, don't throw. Look at this bar. I mean, it looks like nothing, but that's part of a keel pin that goes up in the front of the ship. So that goes back to the old sailing ships. And this lead, in the old days, they used to sheet the bottom of the ships with lead. And a lot of times, we find hunks of this sheeting lead. Or it was either lead or copper. Like here's a little piece of sheeting. And you can tell the sheeting lead because it's very soft, compared to the today.
Back to the reals, Terry. How many Spanish coins have you found on the treasure coast?
I'm not sure. Seriously, I'm not. I've done pretty well. I'd say I found a dozen.
Wow,
maybe more.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I found one. I think it's in here somewhere, and I broke it in 2. It was thin. It was down in Ponce, and I broke it in 2, and I lost half of it. And I'm just sick, And I found it about a couple of years ago on my workbench back in Minnesota. Neatness is not one of my strong suits. You can attest to that. These are ship spikes. These are bronze ship spikes, and these go way back. And You know, almost all of the 1715 spikes are iron, you know, and these probably are older than that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and here's a spike. Now this is iron, and this one is kind of interesting. I pulled this out of a tree back in the woods, and right behind the tree there was a depression. I think it was a grave, you know. So that, you know, I was talking about, you know, the bronze ship spikes. You know, these are actually bronze bottom sheeting nails. You know, they use these to put the lead sheeting and the copper sheeting on the bottom of the wooden ships.
And you found all those?
I found, there was one spot down there, and you were with me. I took you there.
Well, I've got about 8 of them, but yeah. I didn't realize you had that many.
But in 3 days, I found 141 in that one spot. You know, and you know, it's a nail, but it's still an interesting, you know, it's an artifact. I get off on this sort of stuff. There was another place that I went, and I got into these musket balls. And over a 3-day period, I found 210 of these.
Now this is a Turtle Trail, right?
Yeah, this is a Turtle Trail. You were there with me.
Yeah, Turtle Trail is one of the places that people find all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I got 210, and then I also got, I just remember, I got one real there too at the same time. It's in here somewhere. I handed out of well, anyway, I got a, yeah, here it is right here. I got this Spanish coin at the same time I found these. And that's a 1 real. You got that down closer there.
Oh, take that this way. Oh. I like how yeah, they're in here somewhere. I find if I had one, it'd be on display and up front and center. And you go, it's around here somewhere.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful coin.
Yeah, and it's a really nice coin. I found it right down by the edge of the water. Like I said, it was a 3-day event. And then when that petered out, I went north of there.
This is down near where I live. Terry comes down and finds it near where I live.
I went north of there about, I'd say 10, 12 miles, and got into another bunch, and I found this little bar. And this little bar comes from the, you know, the mold.
It's a sprue.
Well, no, it's a bar when they pour it into the mold, and then the musket balls form, and then they break this bar off. Yeah. See,
that's interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, so that's, and I found that probably, you know, 10, 15 miles away from this original batch that I was into. And down here, you know, I speak at several different events and stuff like that. And I was over in Tampa at one of their clubs over there, and I took a whole bunch of Spanish stuff and different artifacts, and I put this on the table. And I had more comments on this than all the Spanish reals or all of the treasure I found. And what we call this is a space poop. And we believe it's titanium that melts off the rockets. And, you know, they really sound off. And
so how far are we from the launch pad right here?
Oh, we are about, I'd say 20, 25 miles. When the rockets go up, I can go right out here and we stand on our driveway and watch it go up. But I run into a fellow, and he had 2 of these, and he had them put in a bezel. And he had one around his neck, and he had one they made for his son-in-law, and he was telling me how rare they were. And I had about 4 or 5 pieces in my pocket that I found that day, and I never told him. I hope he, you know, I did mention in one of my books, and I hope he never reads that book.
Yeah, I find a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Wow, isn't that awesome? What a collection. And, you know, very informative. Terry's a great storyteller. I'm so thankful to Jim and Terry for allowing me to share this with you. Due to length, I'm making this a 3-part series, so please hit the subscription button if you're not a subscriber and get notifications so you can find out when parts 2 and 3 come out. I'm going to roll them out pretty quick, and stay tuned right now. I'm going to also announce a giveaway. Okay, besides being a treasure hunter, Terry is also an author, having written 5 books on metal detecting. I've currently misplaced my copy of Turf to Surf, but here's 4 of the 5. And Jim has worked on some of these, kind of as a proofreader, editor. But this one here, Metal Detecting, A Beginner's Guide, is his latest. It's hot off the press. All of his books are great, and they're all very affordable at $15.99 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of this movie, but I also have a giveaway here that I'm going to bring you. 2 prizes. Just drop a comment in video 1 of this series, and I will announce a winner when the part 3 comes out. So one person will win all of this: a You're Digging It sticker, War Nickel, a Buffalo, a Merc, silver quarter, an Ultimate Finds box to keep your treasures in, a treasure hunter patch, and Terry's book, Detecting the Treasure Coast. This is a signed copy. That will be one prize. And the next prize is similar, another sticker, an Indian, a Merc, a Rosie, a silver quarter, another Ultimate Finds box. This is a replica coin of Spanish silver. It is not the real deal. And this person will get a copy of Terry's latest book, Metal Detecting: A Beginner's Guide, and this is also a signed copy. So just drop any comment in video 1 of this 3-part series, and you will be entered into the drawing. And it will be announced in the 3rd video. Thanks for watching, everyone.
I am now a Kellyco affiliate. Please use the link in the description of this video to shop for all your treasure hunting needs. Thank you.